Here?
It sounds like this.
Okay, so you know why? Because my headphone's not plugged in. There we go.
It's been a long time, though.
And this is why we come early to do
Yeah,
rehearsals.
well, had you been early,
I was.
then you would have had your headset plugged in like mine was.
I should have had that plugged in.
I love that I'm the one who got here late, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you're ready to go. You get like a 90 on the exam. I get like 5%.
God, it was clearly my wife's water bottle because I grabbed the wrong one.
Of course. Fast and Furious, huh?
Fast and Furious, baby.
Fast and Furious.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
All right, so put on the poll question, please.
Did we start the clock, by the way?
Oh, yes, we did.
I was
Rehearsal!
I was counting.
We do it for a reason.
Well, we don't do it,
No, we don't.
but there are reasons we should.
All right, so put on the poll question. More satisfying, Peeze being wrong or Eagle being an athlete?
What?
Well, the second one's never happened. Also, the
first one's never happened.
Thank you, Eagle.
All right, welcome to Calling the Audible. It is the Fall Cup edition. It is the winter. Well, usually this is September, October, and part of November, but we're a little bit early this year. August, September, October.
It's so weird,
Are we into
man.
November as well? Is this going 4 months here?
I think it's going into November. Eagle? Question mark.
Our playoffs will end up in mid-November. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going from shorts and t-shirts.
Ideally, not outside, right?
No.
We don't know yet. Maybe.
Oh my God.
Probably not, but maybe.
This is the worst year.
Yeah.
So I have this huge. I had this huge issue today. It's probably the biggest issue facing the world. I bought a green canvas belt, so that you got to match your leathers. You got to match your leathers, right? Match your medals, match your leathers.
Yes.
So I got a belt to match when I'm wearing this watch, which has a military canvas band as well. So I got it. And then I got it on Amazon. I was like, I'm not going to spend a ton because it's a canvas belt. Who cares? Like, it's just canvas, right? Canvas is not an expensive material. I've said that word a lot in a short period of time.
In the last
Canvas.
minutes, yeah.
But, so I now realize why some belts are more expensive than others, as this belt is now locked into position. And I needed to slide it down every time I needed to use the facilities today.
You can't take off your belt.
I can't take off my belt. I'm
You
going to have
show
to cut
it
it
to us
off
right
when I get
now.
home. I'm going to have to cut it off when I get home.
Can you show it to us, please?
By cut,
It literally
you know, no, I
has
can't.
one purpose that it's not accomplishing.
Well, it's holding up my pants.
Yeah, but it's
And
permanently.
Yes, permanently. And it is matching my watch band.
Okay, so two purposes.
Yeah.
It's semi.
Also my shoes. My shoes also match as well.
Can we see the package?
Not on this show. It's a family show. Yeah.
No, the package it came from in
Yes,
Amazon, so you
exactly.
can send it back.
Just the box.
Just the box.
I'll ask my wife to send a picture.
All right, so Calling the Audible Fall Cup.
Who are we? Because
Eagle,
everyone doesn't necessarily watch this. Hello to people for the first time.
Eagle in the Nest. That's Alex Dakla, who is the producer of the show. Peeze to my immediate right, or a little bit further out. Than usual.
Socially distant, socially responsible.
Exactly. Now we're placing Simon Dagenet in this spot. Simon usually does fall.
Yeah.
I usually don't. And
For those who don't know, Simon he was promoted / demoted to my boss / assistant.
yeah,
in
can you put his
FPF.
face up for those who've never seen Simon Dagenet from us? Thank you, Eagle.
I'm pretty sure I have one. Hold on, let me grab it.
There's some good ones at Simon Dagenet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
there's
have
some
them.
classic ones. Okay, so Calling the Audible Fall Cup, we're going to cover all three tiers plus the co-ed division as well all throughout the course of this. In fact, we'll experience 3 different seasons of summer, fall, and winter, and all in
How's
one
this
season.
one, by the way?
Oh, that's a great one, man. Oh my god. Oh my.
That's my favorite Simon picture.
Is that the one where you said score chicks and?
No, that's a different one.
I mean,
That's his Facebook profile, though.
Oh,
Suit
Simo-
up, score chicks, be awesome.
there are nights where you need to be confident. And on the first night of Calling the Audible, this Thursday night of all Thursday nights, Simon, you got to be confident.
Like, do you think he was inspired by like Tom Cruise and Top Gun to get those aviator sunglasses?
Well, I got a pair of aviators because
so
of
do
Tom
I.
Cruise.
I
I
mean-
mean, everyone's got aviators because it's 2020.
Yeah, I know,
I
but
mean,
it's-
everyone knows me when I play. I wear like the tights and everything for all these the white ones. I was inspired from this picture.
oh,
so.
absolutely,
Yeah, that's
man.
true,
It's an
that's
amazing
true.
picture, man. That's about like 220 that time. 210.
Seriously?
Yeah,
I'm 200 pounds now.
that's great. Yeah, I saw you look slim and trim. We were talking about that
It's
yesterday.
the first
so-
time since I'm 25 years old.
That's great. No, that's good, man. It's good to be healthy, man. It's good to be healthy. Okay, so we're going to cover all the divisions and give you a recap of what we saw. We'll preview all 3 tiers plus the co-ed league as well. And look, the first couple of weeks, if not 4 or 5 weeks, we'll do more of the conversing. Then eventually after the midway point, whenever that might be, we'll have on guests.
Absolutely. Especially, look, we know the men's division well because it's a long-established division.
Absolutely.
We are learning more and more about co-ed each season. The women's division, of course, was challenging last season because it was the first season, and a lot of teams came in with history that we weren't aware of. But to help us this season, especially with co-ed, Alexis Dubois is going to join us sometimes on the show. He's writing an article this season along with Iggy Manzaneto, Eagle Production.
Ignacio Valdez Manzanado.
Thank you. Is it Manzaneto or Manzaneto?
IVM.
IVM,
Ignacio Valdez Manzanedo, actually.
Can you
Manzaneto,
get on
that's
the
what I
Rosetta Stone the proper pronunciation, please? Thank you, Eagle.
Thank you, Moe Khan.
IVM is what we call him.
By the way, someone's asking, where's your mask?
Oh, yes.
I'm waiting for
The
him to blow
correct
his
answer
finger.
is we're in a controlled environment.
Yeah, but Mo doesn't understand radio.
To be fair, this is the video component.
Are you going to try and put it over your headphones?
Yeah, of course.
You're
All
gonna
right,
snap
can you
your
hear me
back.
now? There we go. Okay. We do have masks here.
We do.
But before, let's just start quickly here with a quick COVID-19 update. First week in the books, and we're very proud, very happy that thankfully we didn't have any issues at all.
That we know.
And a big thank you to the staff members, the referees, and the most important, the players for being understanding of the whole situation. Of course, it is definitely a new world, and everyone was very cool about it, understanding the times. And the one thing I'll just want to bring out to everybody to attention to is this. Whenever your time is, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if you play 8:15, please show up at 8:15, not 7:45.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're trying to keep the body count to a minimal when it comes to presence
Perhaps
inside the complex.
body count is not the terminology
I know,
you want
I
to go
know,
with.
but presence of humans,
There we go.
of body
Count
counts.
of bodies.
But the thing is,
Living
guys,
bodies.
one thing that we must emphasize though is the phone number, which Eagle, we've been trying to promote nonstop as you try to get the phone number out, as you're not prepared to know what the phone number is. All I know is 833.
Yes, 833, toll free, by the way,
Yes.
507-2310. That's 833-507-2310. Text your roster, text your name of your team, and text the field you're on, and we will get it and give it to the scorekeeper.
Yeah, so we'll have it up on the screen, though. But that's the one thing we want to bring up to everyone out there is to make sure you text your roster. We had a bit of an issue in the outdoor games yesterday. Some teams forgot to do it. It takes all of 5 minutes, guys.
I have my confirmation. My problem was I wrote CDN instead of CND.
It's a little bit different, Canadian to College ND. So, but,
I'm not sure. I don't know if I typed it wrong. Likely yes, but it also might have been
Autocorrect.
autocorrect. So
Could
be
be.
careful. Be careful for your autocorrect.
quickly, guys, any pointers you want to bring up with the COVID world that we're in with protocols we have?
Nope, just a general thank you to everyone. We know it's a little bit different than usual, but yeah, this first week was very good. I like the Gators, by the way. If you haven't picked yours up yet,
Yep.
definitely go grab one from the field. Every team gets one per player
I wore one to work because it matched my belt.
that you couldn't take off.
That I
Cannot
can't.
take
So I'll
off.
have to wear that gator forever.
You gaze on your mouth for life. Peeze, anything you want to bring up quickly with COVID?
Well, very quickly, I just want to say thank you to all the members returning and trusting us to handle this appropriately. We had a lot of conversations throughout the COVID during the quarantine period about our return. We took it very seriously. We talked a lot about, you notice the rules are somewhat different in terms of people only being able to play on one team. With regards to the testing at the fields, protocols, and what's going to happen should there be an outbreak at FPF and so on and so forth. We took a lot of time and care, and if anyone has any questions, you can always reach out to us. I always say it.
Or feedback, actually, if they're like, hey, you can do this better, or I
Absolutely,
didn't like that, or-
absolutely. Look, I always say I never pretend to be the smartest guy in the room. So, if you guys have ideas that are better than what we have, absolutely send them our way. We're all ears. FPF is an important community to us. It's more than just the company and more than just the game on the field. It's an amazing organization where I've met so many people, an amazing community where I've met so many people, and I'm truly proud of it. So honestly, if there's any way we can improve, please let us know. You're not going to see us as much in the field, except for Moe, who's Moe, by the way, honestly, and I got it. Hats off to you, Moe. I know I love breaking your balls and I love making it funny, but you're doing an important job, and you're doing a job that is terrifying for a lot of people to be on the front lines. And so it's Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I had no idea it was a frontline job. I thought it was director of
Well,
health
I mean,
relations here. At
You are though. You're literally seeing every single player as they come onto the field.
Anthony Fauci?
Yeah.
Moe Khan.
Yeah,
we're neck and neck
That's
here,
it.
boys.
You should ask for a pay raise.
I should.
We got to get Fauci in white spandex.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But
I will say Mo probably pulls it off better than Fauci.
perhaps. But I just want to remind everybody, like, guys, I will be doing your temperatures before you play your game. So it is important to come see me before your game. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to step foot onto your field yet until you come see me for your game. All right, so let's talk about games the week that was. Peeze, there was a lot of games from Tier 1, 2, and 3. I saw a few games. I know Eagle saw 1 or 2. I know you saw a couple here and there.
Yeah, well, again, so we're not seeing as many because we're not at the field as much.
That
So-
being said, Ignacio is scorekeeping on
Correct.
every field this year, so he's going to see a lot of games. So prepare for articles to be good.
I also write to captains when I see sort of things I have questions about. When I see different guys on the roster, especially for a couple of weeks, like, hey, is this permanent? Is this guy just a sub? That kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
also, if you have input about your game, the thing with us working for the media is we love talking FPF. So definitely reach out, tell us about what happened in your game.
Absolutely.
If you want to cry and complain, Pachinart, feel free to do that. Otherwise, if you want to just talk about the other team, how great they were, how terrible they were, how good you guys were, always reach out, talk to us because it helps us have better coverage of the league.
So let's talk about this then. In general, for the tiers that we have, 1, 2, and 3, we'll break it down. Division
Wait,
by division.
tiers in FPF or on Pachinart's face?
Well, there's a few things. There's a few things going on there, but I will say this though. Yes, we've been off. I mean, look, no one's played any sports for the last 4 or 5 months, give or take. Do we suspect, gentlemen, that we might have how we've seen with the NHL, with the NBA, even European soccer, where it might take a game or two for teams to really find their groove as they did 5 months ago when we were playing back in February, March?
In a game that featured myself and Frank K, I will tell you the argument between rest and rust. Rust is a problem.
It definitely superseded
You
rest.
can tell this week who actually got together preseason
Yeah.
and took reps and who just showed up. Like, it's very obvious for the first time in a while. Because normally the seasons roll, right? We finish winter, we start spring. Finish spring, we start fall. We finish fall, we start winter. So
Yeah.
there's always sports. And you miss like
and even before
a
we had
month,
the fall,
maybe?
before we had the fall season, kind of everyone would book sort of like warm up games. Almost every team did.
Absolutely.
But since the fall season, there hasn't been most players, especially quarterbacks, play pretty much every season. And you saw this week that it was a bit sloppier than we've been used to seeing.
And
in a
even
while.
teams that would not play, let's say, spring, but only come back for fall, or not play fall and play winter, you'd be doing maybe outdoor leagues, right? Maybe some touch leagues that you're doing provincially or something.
Right.
None of that either. So literally everyone's coming off to a heavy amount of rust, a lack of exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, gyms were closed for most people, so it for some people it was a struggle. Let's put it that way.
Yes, no question about that. Though, so let's talk about Tier 1 and then breaking it down. 8 teams in Tier 1 this year. We have 2 from the same family of teams. Or the Braves have Braves Green, Braves Black. Peeze, I ask you.
I do like that. That's cool.
It's a very unique situation. Peeze, I ask you, is there a team outside of the Braves club over there who can perhaps give them a good run for their money in the Tier 1 section?
Look, I'm always going to throw my hat in with Dan Lazara. Consequence. I mean, you got to get behind this team. In name alone.
I've been behind this team. They actually wanted me to fund the team budget. I said no.
All right.
So wait, they troll you with their name and you have to pay for it?
They wanted, like, the story was, I won't say who it was, came up to me the other night and said, look, man, we want to have your face on the shirts for next season. We'll take the headshot that you have from your FPF page, and we just need you to fund it. I said, no, I'm not going to fund anything.
I will partially fund the jerseys if I get to choose the picture of Mo. How about that?
Right now, Lazara's like, me, bro.
How about this?
Oh, so it was Lazara.
No.
How about this, Mo? We choose a team that we disagree upon making the top bracket in Tier 1. Okay?
Okay.
We bet whether or not they're going to make the next bracket. And then if I win the bet, you have to partially fund it and I choose the picture. If you
hell
win,
no, I'm not doing this bet.
you come on.
I'm not doing this bet. I'm not putting my picture
scared?
on. No, I'm not scared. I'm not putting my face on.
Listen, someone's going to go to church.
Nah, man. Like, they have consequences. What
Shout out Brent
controversy. Anyway, I'm not doing this bet.
Okay, Eagle, how about this? We choose a team we disagree upon. making the high bracket for tier 1. Either way, one of us is choosing a picture of Mo, but the loser pays the contribution.
I don't want to pay for it.
All right, I'm trying, guys.
We'll figure it out off air.
We'll do something.
We'll do something.
It could have been a $30 donation, Eagle. It didn't have to be a ton.
I mean, you could be like the Dirty Birds and just do it yourselves. And the Darren and Beth Majan fan club. Those are awesome jerseys.
Those were awesome jerseys.
Just do it without Mo's permission. You don't need any stuff.
I could care less. Anyway, I didn't know until like a week before. I'm like, oh, look at that. Consequence is back. So that's very nice of them. Okay, so you have Consequence being the team that perhaps give the Braves green team a good run for their money. I saw them play, though, and look, I know Lazara and the guys have played in the outdoor league before in the last few weeks prior to this season. They have a good team, and I think Lazara has a chip on his shoulder because like he didn't play last winter or this past winter season, and he's come up short, though, guys. I mean, call it for what it is. He's come up short the last couple of seasons with a premier team or teams he's played with in years past, and now he's got himself a pretty solid stacked team here from AJ Gomez to Isaiah Lard, to Paul LaPierre's his middleman, Robbie Robinson, if he plays.
I don't think Rob Robinson's on this roster.
No, I don't think so. That's
no, he's
incorrect.
with Sweat and Beers, no?
Yeah, Sweat and Beers. That's what I thought. And Anthony Van Dram, if he does play for them, it's a pretty solid team piece when you look at the roster from top to bottom.
The thing is that you're at a level in the highest division where you're splitting hairs, and like everyone playing in this tier is good, right? There's no bad teams here. These are all the best talents in FPF. And Dan Lazara just hit sort of bad luck where his stock was rising at the time the Braves arrived into FPF. And the Braves remember, we all said, like, come on, like this team from Terrebonne is going to really come and do damage in FPF. And hats off, they've become the best team in FPF.
And with depth, they have two teams.
Good enough to fund two teams. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty out there. So I just think it's sort of the timing hasn't been on Dan's side. I don't think he's played particularly poorly in any like games where they've lost in the playoffs or championships. It's hard to win at this level. Period.
But you know what? I remember that game they had against the Braves in the finals, right?
The first one, Div 2.
The first one, yeah. And
it wasn't his best game.
No, he got torched. He got torched.
That said, I think the Braves were a much better team that season than Dan Lazara. It was Braves were a Division 1 team playing in Division 2.
Right.
And you know, Lazara's team was a Division 2 team.
And look, they'll play each other at
Week
the end
4,
of August in Laval, which is going to be a huge showdown, perhaps for first place, and that would give you an easier course towards a bowl game final in that regard. But I look at AJ Gomes and what he can do for this team. And I know there's that highlight we posted up on the FPF IG page on the stories where he did a stop and go, and Lazara put it up there, and he made a one-handed grab in the end zone. And look, I think he's probably one of the best receivers in this division. I don't know who can keep up with him or can try to contain him. I'm not too sure. But I think he and Lazara can go off for some huge fantasy football points if you have them in your fantasy football team this year.
Well, and that's the thing. The thing that Dan Lazara does best is put the ball in the position where only his players can get it. He's very, very safe with the ball, and his accuracy and ball location really helps with that. And what that'll result in when you have such talented receivers is basically what we're about to see. For those not watching and listening to the show, it's Dan Lazara completing a pass to the back of the end zone for a touchdown.
I mean, look, the ball might have been a little high for AJ,
but that's the spot. Like, that's the spot where it's not defendable, right? Like, I don't know what down this is, but if that's first or second down, go ahead, put the ball there, and only your guys making that play.
Yeah, and look, it was a great read by Lazara to see it and get the ball to AJ before the safety came over the top for help. But I look at this situation where a team like the KGP champs, I mean, this is a new territory for them. They have moved up in the ranks of playing in Tier 1. They had a big win for themselves.
Just KGP now.
Sorry?
Just KGP, no champs.
Yeah, whatever. I call them champs because they're champs in my books. But this is a team that, look, talent-wise, may not be as of equal of the Braves teams or Consequence or Controversy. What do they call it again?
Controversy,
whatever.
Consequence.
Consequence. Sorry, remember the Controversy was the old name.
But there's one thing they have going for them, though, Peeze, for KGP, is that they have that long-term rapport with the core of this team playing probably now, I think, for the last 3 years together, which I think could be a difference maker for them in this division.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, remember a couple seasons ago where we proclaimed Phil Cutler dead?
We've done that.
Like he's back from dead. Like he's full. He's all the way back, right? Like
he's like Freddy Krueger.
We're done questioning him, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Eagle, did you ever play the Nintendo game of Friday the 13th where you had to run around collecting coffees to stay awake? Otherwise, you'd fall asleep and have to fight the body
that
parts.
That actually sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was an LJM game, so it wasn't. But conceptually, it was awesome. It was just horribly carried out. You'd have to fight his severed body part. It was awesome. It was awesome. I loved it anyway.
That being said, this roster, I mean, they got a lot of speed. They have some size, right? Like, Cutler has a lot of weapons on this roster.
Julian Paymal is going to be a difference maker for them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Paymal is sort of, I know because of the cap situation in Tier 1, but you're weakening a Braves roster that is a difference with him playing defense.
I love that if, like, legit stud rushers, Julian Paymal is not there, they can just, fall back on Gabe D'Amico or John Laristis or Kwesi Gordon-Mull. They basically took all the rushers.
It's strategy.
They've monopolized the rushing line of work here, where you have to go through them for the best rushers out there.
And by the way, the having Sebastien Simon on this team is kind of huge as well.
Yeah,
not a name you think of all the time
right.
in FPF, but he's just a stud defender.
I just wonder if he's going to be permanent though, because he had come. I'm not too sure what his
one for
role
one
is, but look, they're 1-0 with him, and if Joe Hoppenheimer does play, that's another big target for Phil Cutler to have on his roster. I like him a lot. I think he can do a lot. And Gabe D'Amico Mazza did not play either. And he's their, actually, when you think about it, though, guys, he's their normal rusher, their original rusher on this roster. So, yeah, if they want to change or rotate and have a NASCAR package out there.
And I've always said, like, teams.
And it looks like Paymal is rushing clearly.
Yeah, but teams that, I mean, if he's on your team, you're going to use him as a rusher, right?
No question.
But that said, like, I've often said that I find it surprising teams don't really use change of pace a lot when it comes to rushers, because you get guys and they come with different angles, different speeds. It could throw off the timing of quarterbacks, and that's a weapon. Why not throw that at a quarterback if things aren't working your way in the game?
I think this division, though, Peeze and Eagle, I think this will have a couple of upsets.
I think so as well.
I'm not saying like, the Khans beating the Braves. I'm talking about a team that we don't expect, like whether it is a KGP or even
Urjan Smedzic, man.
Smedzic can do it as well.
Urjan Smedzic, like, obviously reaching a touch to be at this level, but like every time we see them play, they get better and better. Jesse Dupree just becomes a better and better quarterback.
Right.
Their whole cast has the talent. It's just the higher division experience they were lacking. Like no one doubts their athleticism, right? Like they're one of the most athletic teams in FPF, period.
Of course.
So now they're just getting that experience at the higher division.
So, is there a team that you think can really fall flat on their faces in this division, though?
Sweat and Beers is.
But Sweat and Beers, you don't expect to be the top. You expect them to be in the lower end of this bracket. BYOB only putting up 18 points in the first game. That's a team where I kind of had high hopes, just seeing how well Matt Renee's played recently.
Yeah.
To see them only put up 18, if they're not gonna be able to score, I think they're a team they need offense. They're not a team that's going to hold a team to under 30 points very often. So they're going to need to score. So in that specific case, I think it's a team that can quote unquote fall on their face because we had such high expectations, and it might not be sort of the best version of this team. They might be missing one piece.
Eeks, can you just pop up the roster for BYOB, please?
Yes.
If you don't mind, thank you. So if you look at the roster, I mean, again, same thing, right? They had that long-term connection of Laurent Foucault, Vaillancourt, Matt Renee, Matthew Lepage, who I think is another receiver to look at. Stephen Osmond's been there for a while.
Yeah.
But you know what, Peeze? The one thing I question about this team's DNA is that
DNA.
DNA.
So, like, if you took all of them, mixed them together in a swirly, and one of them produced a baby, who would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. Put it on the poll, please. Thank you, Eagle.
That's actually a good poll question. If you do
one,
one, I think that's the best one.
Please. I mean, we might get censored by the suits in RDP, but we'll see.
Simo's an RDP?
Oh, I never know. Simo's everywhere. He's got his castle up in the hills, right? But anyway, I don't know if they had that moment of brilliance in them to get themselves that defining play to change a game's outlook in their favor. I don't know if they have that. I think their defense is a little bit slow, maybe one step behind the pace. But their offense, though, look.
But that's what I'm saying. They need to score, right?
They have to score.
So my point is, if their offense isn't going to get and like we said, it's the first week. Teams are rusty. We saw it all over the place. But if that's what their offense is going to look like, they're not a team that's going to eke out a win by scoring 3 or 4 touchdowns and just rely on the defense. It's not the way this team is built.
Their next 3 games are KGP, Brave Noir, which arguably is the weaker Brave team.
Yeah,
but
well,
anyway,
whatever.
And then Sweat and Beer. So you can see them squeezing out 2 out of the 3 games.
They need to go 2-1.
The weaker
Yeah.
Braves team is
I
like saying
agree.
the taller Dakula brother.
I mean,
But look, if they can go 2-1, be 500 after 4 games, I think that could be enough to get themselves promoted to the higher division. Break down the Tier 1 playoffs is what exactly, Eagle, so people know, because people get confused by this sometimes.
so the way it's working is that we're going to play the first 4 games and do
Yes.
the little call it round robin style. And then at that point, we're going to divide it into 2 tiers. So the upper tier is going to be the best 4 records, and the bottom tier is going to be the bottom 4 records. And again, you do a little round robin inside that grouping, and then you end up in a bracket bowl type of system at that point. So there's a whole graphic on the like help page, I guess you can call it, for the Fall Cup season. We'll
Right.
talk about that more closer to like playoffs
Absolutely.
time and bracket time. But yeah, that's the general idea. So ideally you want to do well in your first 4 games because you want to be able to be eligible to win it all. Essentially, if you end up in the second tier, I don't think you can get all the way to like the top final. I think you get the second rank finals, so less cash and less pride. But I mean, even then, your record carries over. So if you bomb your first 4 games, then your next 4 games, and you win all of them, you still end up being 500, right? So that's also not great in the end of the day.
It's unique. It's fascinating, this division. I can't wait to see it unfold as we move along. Tier 2, though, and this is where the spicy discussion has been erupted with our boy IVM, Ignacio Valdez. How do you say his last name again?
Go ahead, try.
I can't.
Manzanedo.
I was just say that Marvel character, Magneto.
Yes.
So we'll call him Magneto.
Iggy Magneto, baby.
Iggy Magneto.
Iggy Magnets. Iggy Magnets.
Okay, but this is the division that caught my attention. I know that the number of teams, quantity-wise, is huge, but there's some familiar faces: Easy W, Voodoo, Warriors, Half the Stars, Bruins who didn't play. They had the bye week, opening week. They'll play
Tough
next week.
Lungs, Outlaws,
Tough
Unknown
Lungs,
Talent,
yeah,
Saltog,
the
Gold
Gold
Cock,
Cock. There's
PMS,
some-
Trojans.
There's some.
They're all
good
teams that are fairly familiar with each other.
Yes, and I look at this Peeze, and I can't. Maybe Half the Stars might be your prohibitive favorite, but there is.
Are they though?
But that's what I'm
I
saying.
would-
I'm not
I-
convinced by that though. Like they might.
I'd imagine so. Half the Stars is a pretty stacked team, so it's hard to imagine anyone really, really challenging the throne there. There's a lot of talent on teams. It's just they're the best combination of the ability to score and their defense. And it's really first of all, Andrew Langbert did the best GM job in seeing the guys from the process, guys who I remember talking about when they first started in Div 6 and said, or I don't remember if it was Div 6 or Div U, and I was like, yeah, I know these kids. I'm telling you, these kids are good.
Dondre
Dondre Portman's a monster, and now then adding that to a core like where he's got Kevin Smoot on the team, Jared Rockman, he's bringing in low division talent with low cap hit to keep himself being able to throw in a division he's comfortable in, and he's probably one of the better throwers in this division, combined with one of the best talent pools.
I don't disagree at all. I think that is a very good team. I just don't know if there's like a drop off, or if there's a.
It's just like
close
other
range.
teams have questions, right? So Easy W's defense has always been the
But
concern,
they've always
right?
been wonky though. You don't know which ECW you're going to get. The world beaters are the team that loses when they're up by 3 scores with 5 minutes to go, and they lose by 2 scores.
Tough lungs, I would say if someone could shut down Justin Lerner, but it's more if Justin Lerner just has balls that are overthrown into his direction because you can't shut down Justin Lerner.
But they're a one-man show at times.
But they are. They often are. Los Bandidos similar. Vincent Benjamin, right? Like
Yeah.
if he's on, forget it. But honestly, in terms of a collection of talent, I would say they need a definite upgrade at snapper. But Outlaws, they like just Stephen Harpersaud's methodical playing style. He is the guy at the poker table that you need to get up. You need to get him with a short stack, right? If he's got a tall stack, you're never catching up.
So here's a question for you guys. Tier
Yeah.
1, I guess it's not as applicable, but definitely Tier 2 and even more so Tier 3. The change for the 5-yard line being your starting point is going to be huge for these teams.
It hugely had
More
an impact
space.
for me throwing in the first week. There are just plays that I'm used to calling in the red zone that don't work now because you can't get any closer.
Oh, no question.
No
question about that. But oh, okay. I don't know
We
if
can
they-
hear you, though,
We
so
can
it's
hear you.
disturbing.
That's
So
what
maybe
we're
just
trying to
text
figure
it.
out. Yeah. Tell Megan we'll see her afterwards. A team that I'm looking forward to watching, who I saw yesterday, Texas Shorthorns.
Yes.
Sakara, the quarterback, John Buse, the receiver. They've been now in the league, I believe, 3 seasons, going back to last year. And they had a rough go at it last spring. And they stuck with it. I think they take that next step in their development where maybe not this year, but if they come back for the winter, I think that's when they will be really a good team. They are fun to watch. They run and gun Peeze, and they're not afraid. They have that bravado that you want in a quarterback like Sakara who can rip it.
Sakara, I mean, you're talking about like they struggle, but Sakara's touchdown to interception ratio in FPF so far is 78-9 in 2 seasons.
Yeah, like it's
nonsense.
crazy that. And I remember speaking to these guys at first when they first came in the league.
When you and I instantly recognized Colin Sakara.
Well, I know this is Carol's name because of the football family, right? But I told him, I said, guys, you have the talent. Is this a question of you developing that experience?
It's
to
learning
play
FPF, learning
on the fly.
And I will say, by the way, playing outdoors. If you're not a team that's played outdoors, who's played in other leagues, if you're strictly like an FPF team, playing outdoors is going to throw you a little bit.
It's fun.
It's weird though, man.
I agree.
Just the spacing feels different. It's harder to know where the lines are. I had a lot of hard time knowing where the first down marker was last night, just because now you're used to having it in the middle of the field, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole different experience completely. Plus, you're fighting the elements, wind, so on and so forth.
You mean when you play tackle football, they draw that little yellow line on the ground so you know where it is? Yeah.
I mean,
put it on
see,
the
NFL
poll.
players are lucky because they have that yellow line drawn on every play.
Put on the poll. Can we put the yellow line for outdoor games starting next
Yeah,
year?
Rob, spring for the yellow line.
Please, thank you. Like in terms of the Outlaws, I know our boy Kevin Kusai was not very happy, thinking that we snubbed them. The baker.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Neck Gator Dana.
I know him
Neck
only.
Gator
I know him only as a fine baker, a master baker, so to speak.
I do. What about Pepperoni Boys? They're
interesting.
They are a wild card team, I think. They have some loaded talent on their
Like
roster.
they're a team where you asking sort of, can anyone surprise us in being sort of one of those teams who's not expected to be the top dog and turns out to be? They're definitely built that kind of way. But Joe Cano is similar to Stephen Harper's son for different reasons. They're very different styles of quarterback. But Joe Cano is not great at coming from behind, but he's devastating with a lead. So.
Yeah, he's got that deep ball thrown to Nicky Papich.
Absolutely. But when he's
Solid.
down, he forces the deep ball, right? And again, I keep looking at Tim Horner's rating and saying, I don't understand how this guy's rating doesn't move. Like, the guy is an absolute stud.
He's very good, and they have guys that can stretch the field if they're called upon, and they play good defense. Like no one
Just
gives them
smart defense.
Yeah, I mean, again, same thing. We go back to that previous term, that the rapport that we've seen in Tier 1. These guys, I think 3 or 4 of them have been playing together in FPF for a good 4 or 5 years together. So these guys have that rapport, so they know where they have to cut off a route, I beg your pardon, or playing defense.
Route?
Yeah.
A route?
A route, yeah.
Like of the canal variety?
Yeah, exactly.
Can
Route
I just
66.
mention the fact that Joe Cano actually looks a lot like Kano?
Put
You
it
know
on
what?
the poll.
In the FPF recasting, we need to do a table read of Mortal Kombat and get Joe Cano to read the parts. Absolutely.
I'm not going to say who told me this, but apparently someone in the Cano family was not very happy with how we called him Kano.
Well, okay.
Joe Cano it is then. Sorry, Miss Kano. I'm hoping it's Miss Kano. Wink.
By the way, the Girl Cock, they forfeited their game at halftime against the Warriors
Due to an injury.
due to injury. They were 5 guys after the injury. I want to give the Warriors the benefit of the doubt, but I want to see them play a full game, and I think they know that, right? I mean, because of the forfeit, they won by 38-8, whatever the final score was.
You know what you're getting with Warriors. They are a smart, methodical team. They have great, a lot of great guys who have great hands, great possession receivers.
Yeah.
They don't have a ton of speed. It's always been their downfall, especially as they moved up in divisions. But Mike Solomene and Stefano Solomene is a deadly combination. So look, you know what you're getting
if they're focused.
if they're focused.
If they're focused.
Correct.
Yeah.
If they're not complaining. But to be fair, look, I will say this. And far be it from me to defend the Warriors, but I will say in recent seasons, since the last explosion and issues with the referees, they've not complained after every play like they used to.
No, and
I remember asking them once, do you want a flag after every play? Like, you know how boring that game would be if the referees would call a penalty on every play?
the game would be done in an hour and a half as opposed to 55 plus 5.
I have a question about a team.
Yes.
Unknown talent. I know now that Joe Luciano is actually the quarterback for the season. Alex Barazzoni is giving a shot playing in Tier 1 with the Khan team, the Conspirians.
The controversy, yes.
Yeah. So Joe Luciano's taking over. He's inexperienced as an FPF quarterback. He's got a cannon. It's going to take him a second to become an FPF play caller, kind of similar to the first time we saw Alex Barazzoni, and then he got instantly good out of nowhere, right? Like, it took him a half a season to a full season to really get his mind into playing FPF. When you walk into unknown talent, they're anything but at this point, because we know guys like Nick Rapini, we know Raf Morelli, Sebastian Gomes. Like, these are guys who are immensely talented. So you're walking onto a team where there's an insane amount of talent to begin with. So Joe Luciano is going to have the guys around him to succeed. It's just a question of how quickly will he develop.
And if you recall, I believe winter season they had that stud quarterback from CVM.
Yeah, he's not playing because of his tackle
of
commitments.
Course not, yeah. If there's a tackle season,
yeah, but
we'll find out next week.
For now, that's where he's at.
And like,
what was his name? Can you get it?
Rakeem
Charles.
Rakeem Charles.
Yeah. Dude was a legit stud.
He is really good. And look, you can't compare Joe Luciano to Rakeem Charles, but if he can be 65% of what Charles was for that team, it will still keep them above water in terms of where they want to be. And you're right, though. They do have a lot of players that have the experience, that do have the ability to change a game. Gropini being one of those kids who can play both ways. Raf Morelli, he's sort of the heartbeat of that team. And they could definitely make some noise this year. But the question is, though, is that, again, it's a young team, though. And you're playing in a division like Tier 2 Peeze and Eagle where there's some really good teams above and below you right now. And I feel like if you lose a game, it really sets you back even further in the whole escapades of teams trying to get up to that top tier of where they want to be.
I think what you have to look at it as, though, is, winter is considered our pinnacle season where everyone wants to be the champ. Spring, the competition's still good, but it's different, right? Because you have the people on vacation.
I would say, especially in the lower middle divisions, summer's a tougher season because you don't have sort of those misplaced teams just trying to figure out FPF. It's the returning FPF teams usually,
especially too as well.
Especially at the top divisions, you're looking at winter absolutely being the more competitive division for sure.
And then fall, of course, being the one where it's a little bit more goofy. It's more experimentation. It's trying things out. Even from like our rules, like we change things for fun and new format, etc. So if there's a season that they bring in Luciano to try and run this team, this is the one. And I think as long as everyone understands that the expectation shouldn't be we're going to win every game and decisively, and this is more of a learning process, and we'll make mistakes and it's okay and that type of stuff, then at that point, does it really matter how your season goes? As long as everyone's enjoying it, you're going to potentially obviously everyone's going to make playoffs. Maybe you get an upset win in that round, then you get yourself to a bowl final. Who knows?
By the way, of the 8 games that we had for Tier 2 this past week, 4 games decided by 7 points or less. So we might see...
And a blowout on top of that.
There was a blow, yes. But
I mean like the forfeit blowout.
Yes, exactly.
So that one, doesn't really count.
So technically speaking, out of the 7 games, 4 out of the 7 were by 7 points or less, which is good enough.
It's very good.
One team, Peasy, that no one's going to talk about that might surprise and really rankle the feathers of some in this division.
I mean, part of my swag lost the first game, and we know Brad Evans' ability, right? So I just feel like that's not a sexy pick, and also part of my swag has not done well in the postseason in the past.
But that's on who, though? Brad Evans, or is that on the team not being ready for that moment?
I think that if I were to find one issue with Brad Evans, and it's not just him. There's a lot of quarterbacks who suffer from this, is that he doesn't always adjust. And in the playoffs, you're facing better defenses, and those defenses are adjusting to your play calling, right? So I think he's learned a lot, so he may that may change this time around.
I'm going with Los Bandidos. Besides having the usual crew of like Loac Savoie-Séguin and Vincent Benjamin on the team, etc., they've brought Jérémy Gauthier as their quarterback, who will catch a lot of people off guard with his running ability, and especially with the new flag belts. My God, is that going to be hard to tackle?
Yeah, but I mean, they've always had a running quarterback anyway.
But so they have just perspective. They have Pardon My Swag, Warriors, and Unknown Talent on their schedule. You're getting 2 wins easily on that.
You could be 2, and you can have minimum 2, if not 3, by the time you're done with the first.
What
games.
about Bruins? To be honest, just seeing Zach Zwirn in tier 2, Gab Wiseman improves every season as a quarterback.
Nelson Pereira, Rob White, yeah.
It's nothing's really sexy about it, but it's a well-rounded team.
Yeah. They are,
except for you, Gab. You're sexy.
But my concern about this team is trying to keep up with the high-scoring teams. Don't know the schedule. They have Trojans coming up next Wednesday. That's their first game. And then afterwards, they got
doubleheader, actually. So
they got 2 games. They got Hot Sauce Sports as well. And then Half the Stars and Mangoose to finish off their opening 4.
They can probably go I can see a 3-1 here.
I'm just happy they'll be tired.
I think they'll go yeah, I see what you're saying. You want me to test them? You want me to test them for the second game? Oh, guys, you have a low temperature, can't play.
That's true. Sorry, forfeit.
Sorry, can't play.
Forfeit.
I can see them going for sure minimum 2-2. But that half-star game will be the measuring tape for them, like the measure stick. Where do they stack up?
If they get blown out, we know where they're at.
Yeah, if they get blown out, then they're a middle to lower pack team in that division. So,
yeah,
we'll find out. Tier 3.
They face teams across the board that are faster than they are. Like, they're not a particularly speedy team in Bruins.
But they don't need to be.
They don't need
to be throwing post down the middle of the field.
No, but the problem is
with
Gab Wiseman.
Unless you're throwing post down the middle of the field.
Yeah.
The problem is quickly with Gab Wiseman is that if he can't get points early on in games, it is a tough mountain for him to climb up and try and get those points in the second half. He needs that lead. That's his key. He needs that lead by 2 scores to really be at ease. All right, so Tier 3, a lot of teams for Tier 3. And there are
same number as Tier 2, just FYI, 18.
Yes, I know. Breakdown of how this plays out for Tier 2 for teams moving
Same
up
idea. 4 games, round 1, reseeding. 4 games, round 2 in 2 tiers, and then bowls.
So, Peeze, I ask you, is there a huge favorite in this division, or is there more parity in your mind with all these teams?
So, Tier 3 is always interesting because there's going to be teams we don't know, right? The teams we're not as familiar with.
These teams, most of them are kind of familiar, though.
Most are.
Honey Martin, Lockdown, Rainmakers, Bud Knights. Oh, shit, that sound. The
Triple P is a bunch of existing guys already. It's Andel Thomas Gordon, Chris Calantonio, hold on, there's a few others. I'm going to grab it. But yeah, it's a known team. They just changed their name.
It's the rotating cast with a different quarterback that fits the lowest division.
Basically.
Right? That's what they do.
It's Kevin Donnet, Steven Spagnuolo. Yeah. Essentially, it's the Dream Chasers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or Dream Chasers Light in any case.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I like them a lot in general. Honey Martin as well. I'm a fan.
That was really tough for you to say.
Yeah, well, because they've proven me wrong. So, that's great.
Ivan Magneto's going to be really happy about that one.
Sorry?
Ivan Magneto. Sorry, Ignacio Magneto.
Iggy Magnets? Yeah, well, honestly, I've been impressed with Mark Bellini as he's improved. There's another team I'm going to have trouble saying here, and I think you actually have them on the script. So, Lockdown, having... What's his name now?
Buccaneer.
Do we really have to change his name? Is his allegiance that thin?
Buccaneer, formerly known as Pat Riot.
Is his allegiance as thin as his
God,
hairline?
I didn't realize that's what it's played off of.
Yeah.
What a chooch.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, my God. What a chooch.
So I was excited for a moment when I thought, hey, for a second, myself and Buccaneer might be the, in the top echelon of quarterbacks in division for a change. Instead of constantly being pushed upward. Somehow, Lockdown was able to stay in this division and Hot Sauce Sports got bumped up a division.
Okay,
What
forget
is your
about
quarterback
that.
rating? You're 73.
Yeah, I think
That's why.
How the hell did I not pick up on Pat Ryan on Buccaneer?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, well they had a convincing win. Lockdown. Not
It's just at this point, like in those
Admittedly-
divisions, it's the best quarterback wins usually, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard, like it's between those two. It's between Mark Bellini and Buck Anier. Buck Anier.
I am going to say, considering I'm on this roster, that replacements look extremely rusty. Like, we were supposed to have a preseason practice with them, and they canceled on us, and it shows, really. Like, their defense was non-existent, and Frank Tioli, I can never pronounce his last name,
Colatrella.
Colatrella, wasn't reading a field. The speed
But
of the
he's
game,
had
he wasn't ready
But
for it.
the issue
Feels
with
though.
Frank is always that he
doesn't read
doesn't
fields.
read the field.
Doesn't read the
And
field.
okay, I won't. So he does something that's very easy to predict on defense, and if you do that thing,
5 picks.
you're gonna get interceptions thrown into your chest, and like it's just you need to make that next step, man. It's hard. Throwing an FPF's hard. You're preaching to the choir, man. I get it. It's tough.
It's not easy.
It's tough against experienced defenses as well, but you can't just wing it. You can't make your reads in the huddle, and that's what he does. That's what he does.
Yeah, it's tough, and you're bang on that. That next step has not been met yet by him.
Mean Girls. They're a team that improved drastically in the last half of the season before the season got canceled. They add Angelo Moralato, the receiver of the Mediterranean.
You're going to laugh about that.
They have a lot of talented guys that aren't as well known in the league circles. They're always asking about adding. I forget who it was. They asked me to add a guy last season. Like, can we lower this guy's cap? And it's not. But let's say it was like Robbie Robinson. I was like, no, we know who he is, man. Like,
Can you lower Kevin Watt's cap?
Yeah, like,
So we
it
can fit
was
him
like
on
a-
the roster.
it was like a borderline Division I guy. We're like, no, you can't lower his
So,
cap.
question for you guys: if Kevin White played with Mean Girls, like, would they be really bleeped up with their roster and trying to keep their roster intact, or are we looking at they can fit Kevin Wyeth? What's the cap hit for?
Well, the quarterback rating would be an issue.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's
they-
more like if they add Pat Jerome, let's say, right? Like,
yeah, no, that's it. Look, I saw them play. They still have that same determination, the fire in their belly, a lot of passion on the field, a lot of passion on the field. And in fact, I had to tell the guys, "Do you mind putting your water bottle away?" Oh, bro, we're locked in here, bro. I'm like, okay, cool, man. I know. We're just
they're
trying to
mean girls, though.
I know, but I'm trying to keep this sidelines clean here,
Look,
boys.
You just gotta hum some Vanessa Carlton, and you'll be good.
Anytime they give you shit, just be like, oh, that's
Oh,
so
that was
fetch.
White Chicks. I confused the movie. God damn it.
That's
Guys, you got to put your water bottles away. Yo, man, we're here. Oh, okay, that's so fetch.
their schedule, please, Eagle, for this
Yes,
season.
Mean Girls will have Trap Stars, Toon Squad, and Lion Hearts.
Oof. That Lionheart game is gonna be the very emotional game, I think.
Yeah, I think it's not the hardest schedule for them.
No,
though.
they can go at best. I think they go 3-1. I think that's their ceiling right now.
This is also not the same Trap Stars as it is the most recent Trap Stars. It's not the Trap Stars we remember as the worst team in FPF history.
Oh God, man! Oh, they were bad.
They weren't even that bad, but they were pretty bad. They're not the worst.
They were
team.
historically bad.
They were the losingest team in FPF. They were actually decently talented. They always kind of played in Division 2 high for them though.
What about Ball in 60s?
Ball and 60s are going to struggle, I think.
I'm surprised. Like they looked the part, man.
Yeah.
They
It's
looked the part, but they didn't
FPF
play
and
the
experience. FPF and experience. They're talented. I just think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle, and we saw it this game.
part. Yeah,
Defensively, they're just going to allow too many points.
They got Goon Squad, Speakeasy, and Triple S. on
Yeah,
the
that's not
schedule.
gonna be easy.
No,
No,
especially the last two games.
no. But like a team like Bada Bing, I saw them play very quickly on Monday. I think it was. I've seen every team so far this year. They lost to Triple P 14-8. Their roster is a little bit big for my liking. I don't know how they're going to fare when it's played.
Why does that intimidate you? Big roster?
So these guys, if I'm not
Perhaps.
mistaken, are FPF junior players that got
Yeah.
moved up, right?
Yes, that's
so they
right.
have some experience, just not at the adult
Yeah.
level.
I'm trying to remember.
and like the physicality is gonna be different from FPF Junior. FPF Junior to FPF is not the same game entirely.
Who was their first game, Eagle?
Their first game was against Triple
Triple
P.
P.
Right. I'm just trying to remember the team that I saw yesterday that I think moved up from junior to to Tier 3 that played at Collège Notre Dame yesterday at 7:15.
I will check.
Yeah, because they caught my eye.
At 7:15.
Yeah, I beg your pardon for not knowing their name.
Les Neigeonnais. That the one?
No.
That's 7:15. It's Toon Squad, Les Neigeonnais, or Les Semi Croquants, or Kiss My End Zone. Those are your 7:15 games.
Hold on. No, it was Toon Squad, I think it was.
Okay, let me go check for you.
Was,
I didn't think Toon Squad was a junior team.
This is Toon Squad.
Are they not?
That looks about right too.
Yeah, they are actually. My mistake.
Because they look like yeah, this is the team I watched play yesterday. And maybe it's the fact that no one knows who they are, so familiarity does not really breed anything for them, for their opponents, I beg your pardon. But they got some guys who, if they stick with this whole process, maybe not in a year, but maybe in 2-3 years, could be a team to watch out for as being a top dog in 6 and eventually moving up to 5, being 5A. They made some throws yesterday, Peeze, where I was like, holy bleep. Like, these guys are making throws that, I'm not saying like Tier 1, but that you will never see from a Tier 3 team, especially a newbie team that can understand the game's angles and execute it to perfection in the red zone.
Yeah, that's Gardner Ross, quarterback. Again, it's not someone I know a ton about, right? So he was successful in this game. I've actually seen him throw. I've seen him throw in FPF Junior. He's good, to be honest. And like in FPF Junior, you know, in 3 seasons, 78 touchdowns, 31 interceptions. You know, it's basically a 3-to-1 ratio, which is I feel like the bare minimum for success in FPF. Right? So, like,
you need a defense if you're doing 3-1.
Exactly.
4-1 is better.
So, if the team is good defensively, they'll be okay. They'll be competitive in every game.
Yeah.
And especially in Tier 3 where there's less scoring, that can be effective.
I think they can go 3-1. They do. I think they beat Zone 6 ballers. So that's 2 wins right there. And perhaps the luck of the draw when it comes to Bada Bing or Mean Girls, they can take 1 of 2 from those and be 3-1 going into the next phase of the Fall Cup.
I just hope Zone 6 ballers show up to every game. They have a bad history.
No, they have a bad habit of.
That was last year for like a season. Winter was better.
But they're an
that's
absentee
true.
team though. But that's the problem though, right? It kind of carries with them for a while. But I agree with you. And I hope. Look, I know they got walloped. Was it by you guys this week? Lockdown?
No, we killed replacements.
Oh, replacements.
It was Honey Martin.
Honey Martin, yeah. And I know speaking to IVM about it, he said, look, they weren't really that, of a threat against our team.
Well, Ginsley Valbenard, he's a guy I always want to succeed. He's a nice guy. He's a great athlete.
Good kids.
He's just not a natural quarterback, right? So when you're not a natural quarterback, you need to develop as a play caller and you need to develop in reading the field. You can't just rely on the strength of your arm. And that's going to come with time. And hopefully it happens. Hopefully happens this week against Lockdown. Jesus, how did you guys fit in this division?
4 for 17, 80 yards.
I got some Pat Chenard questions for you, Eagle, about your Lockdown team.
I didn't do anything.
I know, I'm joking.
One team that really intrigues you, Peeze, like for this opening 4 games.
Well, again, Mean Girls is the one. Mean Girls to me is the one that
wrong one.
I've been in talks with Stephen Lombardi since I played him last season. They're a team that learned quickly, and that's always impressive. That's the one. Everything else is pretty much stock. Bud Knights is the team that's going to live to disappoint us.
Best defense. Simon Dajon would say.
Yeah. Best defense in the history of FPF.
I'm curious to see how Lionhearts are going to do with Carmelo Di Giovanni taking over as QB. He went 5 for 19, 59 yards, 1 TD, 3 interceptions this last game.
The problem with changing quarterbacks constantly is that nobody gets the reps to improve. And just choose a guy, guys. Just choose a guy.
Well, the problem is with these guys.
Emilio Greco wasn't there that game, admittedly,
okay,
so that might be a reason for it.
Right. But the problem with these guys is that they take that step, that that monumental step in their ascension, and they just go landsliding back down to ground zero, and they're back to square one about what they want to do with their team. Like, they've had moments. They've had some sparks, but it's not been like a consistent forest fire where you say, my God, this is a team to watch out for. They've been there, but they have not been as great as they should be at this point in their development of the team. In terms of, hold on here, we've got my questions up here, Eagles and Peeze. Lockdown, quickly here, Peeze, and I know you'll keep your mouth shut here, Eagle, because it's your team.
Or will I?
Are they, with the schedule first, are they smoke and mirrors?
Not in this division. Not in this division. Both of their quarterbacks are probably too good to be throwing in tier 3, given the rest of the talent in the division. Honestly, it's a team that's got they have depth. They have 2 snappers. They have multiple guys they can rush. They have 2 quarterbacks. They're set up for success.
It's almost like the GM of this team designed it for contingency.
Yes, absolutely.
Perhaps.
No, it's a well built.
The
thing is, they're a team with obvious limitations defensively.
They play to their strengths.
Eagle, you and I know. You know when we play against you, you hate it because I know those weaknesses and it shows every time. And it's not because of a talent discrepancy because the team is talented. It's legitimately if the quarterback knows how to beat lockdown, lockdown's going to struggle. Right? Is that fair to say?
Yep.
And because essentially,
It's the plan to fix this year. That's
it. And Buck Anier is a quarterback who is the kind of guy that we've talked about. Eagle, a 3-1 guy is a guy who needs defense to help him win some games. He's not going to score 5 to 6 touchdowns each week.
This roster is possible.
This roster in this tier is possible for sure.
So percentage.
But I think when you're facing Honey Martin,
It'll be a different game.
that's going to be tough.
Yep.
That's like a
Mark Bellini is going to carve you up.
Oh boy.
Just
percentage.
hope for him to have a high temperature that game. But not for nothing to be wrong with him. He just has a hangover from the previous night.
Yeah, and I block him from playing. Percentage of them going 4-0 PZ. This is the number.
Who are they playing? Zone 6 Ballers, Lionhearts, Triple P. They're going 4-0.
Okay. That's
Triple P, the only challenge.
Co-ed. We got the co-ed division. And I did see some games yesterday.
We had Alexis Dubois actually ask, "Hey, when are we going to cover co-ed?" And I said,
Next week.
Wait a little bit. So.
Yeah.
No.
I know.
Shut up, jerk.
I wanted to make Alex Dubois a little nervous with that. Okay, so Kiss My End Zone. They played 2 yesterday. They're 2-0.
How do you feel about the double headers in general, Mo?
I get
conceptually.
I get it. I know that because of the odd number of teams, you're going to have this situation pop up. But in theory, as the car noise goes off in the street, it kind of minimizes a team coming back in a row, right? Like you play 2, get out of the way, get a bye week. So that's one less team to worry about, right? For the purpose of what we're in right now with COVID-19. But this team, Kiss My End Zone, Jalen Greaves, Jamil Springer, Alexis Dubois. Like I'm curious if
I'm
curious if Jamil Springer knows Alexis Dubois' first name.
Maybe not.
I don't think he does. Eagle?
No.
What do you think he calls him?
Hey, you.
Yo, guy, as Don Shepard would say, right?
Well, I will say when Jamil Springer was on Darksiders, he probably didn't know my brother's name. He just kept saying, "What's wrong with your brother, man?" That's all it was.
Okay, but this is a good team.
Yeah,
this is a very good team.
The issue is going to be in the co-ed division. The strength of the female players is really where we see success, right? Because at some point, if you only target your male receivers, you're playing at a disadvantage, right?
That's right.
So we see Joshua Vasquez completing passes to only his male receivers in this game. That's eventually going to be a problem.
Erica Dubois did get 4 receptions, though,
2 touchdowns.
and 2 TDs.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Erica Dubois, the better.
Because they played 2 games, right?
So I'm sorry. I was looking specifically at the tighter game against Semi Kraken.
Yeah.
Awesome name. I like the name. Sorry, I like the team name. But again, against some of the tougher competition, I think that's going to be an issue. We saw them in a game where they were able to run up the score a little bit. We saw Erica Dubois, like you said, the more talented Dubois, get involved in the game. But in a game where it was tighter, it seemed as though Joshua Vasquez didn't trust his female receivers.
Yeah, and that might be something he'll have to correct.
It is also week 1, right? So week 1, you want to go to the things that are more comfortable.
And back-to-back games, too.
Back-to-back
And
games.
they have a bye week coming up. But is there a reason why they're playing La Sect twice, Eagle? Is there?
That's a great question, actually. I don't know.
Because it's 5 teams, I beg your pardon, right? Like it's 5 teams in co-ed.
Yeah, actually, that's a weird one. I don't know.
We'll have to correct that next time. But Jalen Greaves is on pace for almost 400 yards and 10 touchdowns through 4 games.
Yeah.
And it's all dependent on if Concordia will have their season or not. So he may not be available for them after August 24th. Who knows? But I don't know if there's a team. Maybe there is one out there. Fighting Tigers, led by the Galinas, the Fighting Seth Galinas. He has a pretty good roster.
You know what that means in Italian, right?
What?
It means a fighting chicken. Galina's a chicken.
Oh, the Fighting Galinas. So the Chickens are a pretty good team. You got
Technically hen.
Hen, yeah.
So the Fighting Hens. You got Galina.
It's a cock, basically.
Fighting Cock. You got Jordan Chin, former Concordia player, Jamie Odrea, Dylan Taylor. There's some good ballers on this team, and they might give Kiss My End Zone probably.
Well,
the
that's
best run.
that's what I was talking about. A team like this, where you're gonna have the talent to match up with the top end talent, then Joshua Vasquez is gonna need. But there's similar teams in that, like Seth Galina and Josh Vasquez are far from perfect quarterbacks, right? The
Who do
guys
you
who make
trust more?
mistakes. What?
Who do you trust more?
I trust the play calling of Seth Galina with this talent.
But do you trust the
Cool.
execution of the play calling from the Fighting Hen?
A good distribution, by the way, of the ball on offense.
Well, it's easy when you have that roster.
Yeah, but when you look at the numbers, okay, there isn't a guy that's ever present being the dominant force.
You don't need that, though.
But it's a dink and dunk offense. Look at the yards per reception over here.
But that's Seth Galina knowing his
Strengths.
and weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
And
and
he's
he has
got-
Dylan Taylor in the huddle to help him out too, which is gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. And look, his early Danjou, Anna Chevier got involved in the game, but Dylan Taylor and Jamie Ager are the guys who are going to make plays on this team, and they did. They absolutely did.
Daniel Mercer also. But I digress.
Sorry?
Daniel Mercer also got same number of receptions, one less yard than Jamie, and same number of
Yeah,
TDs. So.
that's true.
Gio DeFazio's best lineup. I mean, he played, I believe, was 13 players on Monday.
Did they all play, however?
There was only 11 here.
11, I beg your pardon, 11 players.
Only
on Monday.
11.
11 of the 13.
So over under 40 and a half players he'll play.
Does everyone get on the field?
Like, he could play two teams. Like, if Gio was really so, like, adamant about winning a co-ed
Oh, that's
title,
not what it's about.
What, it's to point his middle finger at the FPF shield and say, bleep you, we're trying to circumvent the system? Is that what it is?
No,
Not
it's just that
specifically.
if you have a roster of 11 people and 6 players are your best two ways, 5 people are there. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, like, over under 40 and a half guys you'll play on this roster.
I mean, it'll be under 40, but it's going to be closer to 40 than 10.
It's wild, though. But, like, I mean, like, they're a good team, and they've won co-ed.
Yeah.
They've won co-ed. And I think it was last spring they won co-ed.
And it was a great game.
A really, really good game. But,
And they dropped their first game.
yeah, and I believe he scouted Kiss My End Zone on Wednesday. He was there for 2 hours. I just wonder, and this might be a benefit for this team. I know they have a lot of guys, but Ryan Dobbs-Garnett, Justin Weir, Jonathan Weir, really good players.
Matt Peacock.
Matt Peacock.
You're bearing the lead
yeah,
there.
Yeah, exactly.
MRSN, actually.
MRSN as well.
Excellent.
They,
Excellent player, MRSN.
they have a really good team, and they might be the team to beat in this division after 4 games.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, they're the top end of the roster is always going to be some of the best players in FPF, right? Competing.
There's no, I don't doubt that. Yes, because they play in hard divisions and they have the experience playing in this division. But a guy like Justin Weir, who I really like, I'm a big fan of him, and he plays quarterback in 5B or 5A, whatever one it was. If like, I don't think Gino will ever go down. I think if Gino had 2 ACL tears, like, he would still play. Like,
He'd play on crutches, no problem.
Like, he'd play on crutches. He'd play in a wheelchair, and he'll circumvent the system, saying, "Well, look, there's nothing saying about wheelchairs here."
That's true.
but
There's no rules specifically
There's no
about
rules about
wheelchairs.
wheelchairs. And I'm sure he would think about it now. But Peacock and Weir are the difference makers for this team if they're going to have that deep success this year.
And again, MRSN, like, again, in co-ed, given that you need to have female athletes on the field,
2 at a time.
two at a time, a team that can use them effectively. And some of the women that are the most talented, MRSN is one of them.
Yeah.
That's a huge bonus, right? That's what you need to be successful, and that's what we saw when Yin and Yang won the championship, right? So
Right. Sorry, go ahead, Peeze.
so that's it. So they're set up for success despite the first early season loss.
All right, looking at the other teams, and I believe these are 2 new entrants as well. La Secte and Le Semi-Cocon. Any thoughts on these two teams here in terms of their voyage in the co-ed?
Look, Semi-Coquin had they were very competitive against Kiss My End Zone. They also have a large roster, although I think guys are sort of a lot of people can't commit to playing. A lot of them are from the MacDo squad. When you see Julien Proux and Victor Nolin, they're a team again that got good
JF Delos.
pretty fast. Yeah, but JF Delos is from a different crew of guys. But you see that, and then you see, Alexis Labonte joining up with this group, and he's a guy who's played in Kuwait a long time.
Yeah.
It's a team that I think can be successful, and again, we saw it early on in giving one of the front runners a tough time in this game. Laurie Marcotte making 3 tackles in open space. That was a big part of their defense. It's a talented team that I think can compete with the better talent in this division. Do they have the absolute top tier athletes to keep up? That remains to be seen.
I'm curious for La Secte. I know they played yesterday. They're a new team.
Yeah.
And I saw a bit of their game. I think it'll take them maybe a couple of games to get used to the FPF way of doing things. But I think they can pull off an upset. And their remaining games that they have left for the opening 4 here, Eagles, for La Secte, in terms of their...
Well, they got Fighting Tigers next week. Then they have Yin and Yang, and then they have Kiss My End Zone to wrap up the game 4. That's not fun.
It's a tough schedule, but I think they'll get one. They'll get one win out of this.
A name to look out for in her first game, Laurier, 4 catches, 31 yards. Not someone we know a ton of in FPF.
But we will soon.
We will soon if she's got that role on the offense. If someone's going to help move the chains, I think that can be, that can be effective. She's playing the winter season. She only had 12 catches in the entire winter season in 6 games. So seeing her sort of get, a third of that production in the first game, it shows to me she's played her rookie season. She's good to go. Now we'll see her get more involved in the team. And look, they aren't, particularly sexy stats, except that you like people who can help keep your offense moving. I'm a guy who relies on a lot of possession receivers. Will move the ball by completing a lot of passes.
Yeah, for sure.
I think La Secte is going to be that kind of team as well, and that's where I think her value is.
So they'll matriculate the ball.
Absolutely.
And they may not score 50, but they might score 20, 30. That might be enough for them to win on any given week. So tough schedule, though. Those 3 other games are tough, but I think they can pull off a win out of that. Breakdown for the co-ed tier system here for...
I think it's the same breakdown. Actually, that's a good question because there's only 5 teams. I'm going to get back to you because I don't know off the top of my head.
Next week. It is now time for...
Games of the Week!
I love how it gets worse each time.
I know.
Yeah,
it's my
fine.
favorite thing.
It's like that old warhorse that just can't go any further, right?
A dying warhorse.
Yeah, like literally can't reach the finish line of a Kentucky Derby, Quarter of the length go and they just die out.
All right.
Fast and furiously.
You want to do all the games? Because there's not that many of them, right?
So one-word answers.
I was going to say, let's not do large conversations here. Okay, so Tier 1, Sweat and Beers, Consequence.
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 All right, KGP, BYOB.
Good game, KGP.
Yeah, KGP as well.
Yeah.
Terror Squad, Urgence Medique.
Give me UM.
I'm going to go Terror Squad.
And in the Battle of Colors, Green versus Black.
Braves.
Braves.
It worries me that you led into it that way, given the summer we had. But let's go with Braves Noir.
I'm going to go with Green.
Ooh.
Which one's got my head throwing? It's Noir, no?
Green.
Green?
Yeah, you can't choose your pick.
All right, fine. I thought I made a mistake, but I'm sticking with it. You know what, Mo? You're going down.
Hey, go Green.
You have Chevalier as your.
All right, that's okay. That's okay. I can do that.
Joe Mayo though.
Tier 2.
JD, man, you're my boy.
Centaur, Mangoose.
Mangoose.
Yeah, Mangoose.
Easy W, Tough Lungs.
Great game.
That's a fun game. There's going to be 0 defense in that game. Give me easy W.
All right. Les Gros Coq, Unknown Talent.
Go easy W for me as well. Unknown Talent.
I'm going to go Grokuk.
I know you are.
Different.
Wow. I love what I love, Mo.
I know you do.
Voodoo Outlaws.
That's going to be Outlaws.
The shortest height of quarterbacks in this game.
And the least amount of hair for quarterbacks.
Outlaws for me, please.
Bruins, Trojans.
First game for the Bruins. I'm going to take Bruins.
Bruins as well.
Warriors, half a stars. That's a good game.
That's a
actually.
good game.
Oof.
Half a stars though.
A true test for the Warriors. I'm going with half stars though.
The speed's gonna be an issue, but
yeah.
Hot Sauce Sports, by the way, sponsored by Mike's MTL Barbecue Rub.com.
Passing that, please.
if you want 10% off, Hot Sauce 10.
Get to me, please.
Also, you should watch, like, and subscribe to Hot Sauce Sports.
There you go. This has bourbon actually in this.
Yeah, Ghost Bourbon.
Ghost
It's
bourbon.
delicious sauce.
Hot Sauce Sports versus Bruins.
I'm gonna go Hot Sauce Sports by 50.
Yeah, I'm going Hot Sauce Sports by 35.
Nice.
That's a great thing.
Listening to Hot Sauce Sports.
Pardon My Swag versus Los Bandidos.
I'm gonna go Los Banditos.
I'm gonna go PMS on this.
That's a fun game too.
Yeah,
Man, it's a good game. Good week of games.
Yeah, there is.
Tier
Yeah.
2 is fun. There's a lot of cool stuff in Tier 2.
Texas Shorthorns and Pepperoni Boys.
Probably the game of the week for Tier 2.
Yeah, give me Pep Boys. Pep Boys, baby.
I'm gonna go Pep Boys in this one.
And
I'm done picking against them.
Tier 3, Bada Bing, Toon Squad.
Toon Squad.
Toon Squad.
Lionhearts, Honey Martin.
Honey Martin.
Honey Martin by a lot.
Triple P Replacements.
Triple P.
Yeah, Trophy.
This part of the schedule got less exciting.
Yeah, this is like the downfall.
Sorry, guys. Listen, you're going to have some tough games in fall. It's a tough season.
Lockdown, Zone 6 Ballers.
Lockdown.
Lenné, Joannais, Bud Knights.
Sun Knights.
But nice because I can't pronounce the other team.
Le Speak Easy, Southside Speedsters.
Southside
Easy.
Speedster.
Mean Girls, Trap Stars.
Top stars.
Mean Girls.
Rainmakers, Goblin Gang.
Derek Kastner, second game as quarterback. I'm gonna go with Rainmakers.
Yeah, Rainmakers as well. Lefty Kastner, isn't
No, he's righty.
he? Is he? I thought he was lefty. My mistake.
You're the only one piece. Goon Squad, Ballin' 60s.
Ball in
I'm
60s.
gonna go Bond 60s in this one.
And we got co-ed to finalize the schedule. Yin and Yang versus Les Semi-Croquants.
Yin Yang.
I agree.
And we have Fightin' Tigers versus La Secte.
La Sect.
Fighting Tigers.
Alrighty.
That's it for sure, Mo.
For sure in.
I missed you, buddy.
All right.
I missed you.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been 5 months.
Well, we did a show like 2 weeks ago.
That's more like a PSA.
That was a warm-up, yeah.
Yeah, more PSA. Okay, so again, as we deeper through this world, as we deep dive into this season, we'll definitely have guests on throughout the course of the season. And look, I'll be at the fields all the time here. Don't forget the number for the roster input, please, is what again?
You have to give it to me right then, really?
Yes, of course.
It is...
Sorry, we're asking you to do your job, Eagle.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. 833-507-2310. Text your team name, your field that you're on, and your roster's name and numbers.
Please.
What's the discount code for the...
Enter Mike's BBQ for a discount
Hot
for
Sauce
your
10.
roster.
But don't send it to that number.
No, please not.
Next week is Picture Week.
Yes.
We're going to figure out the protocol for pictures with everything going on, and we'll let you know. Email the captain, Facebook post. Essentially, if you're missing an individual picture, we'll take one, and we're going to do team pictures in some particular fashion.
And just finally, guys, look, we had a really good first week. I was really happy with the players and how understanding you guys were. Let's keep it up. I know it's tough in this COVID world because it can change on a dime, literally, for all of us. So please see me for your temperature before you enter the field on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Make sure you wear belts that you know how to take off.
Magic words, please.
From all of us here at the Week Extra Point Live,
Good night, New York Rangers.
did you see the Carolina Hurricanes Twitter game?
Hurricanes.
They're good.
I can't talk.
What's wrong with you today?